So hey guys, so I, so my other video, my Marvel 101, is uploading. It's really long actually. But I guess if you don't really read comic books, and you're interested in knowing the background information, you should check it out. You can just fast forward through it. A lot of it's just me rambling and cursing a lot. Um, but now I'm gonna be reviewing my copy of Avengers vs. X-Men number zero. I stress number zero, not number one. Some places have actually sold number one. Number one actually shipped a week early. It comes out next week, but it shipped this week to a lot of comic book stores. And Marvel's like, keep that shit to yourself. Keep that book. Don't sell it. If you sell it, they're gonna probably teabag the shit out of you in the future. Like they will. I'm pretty sure you can get sued. They will sue you for selling it early. But and a lot of places, a lot of people actually. Apparently, I saw a review up for it. I didn't even watch it, but this comic book store down in Florida, I think, reviewed a copy of it, and I didn't watch it because I didn't really want to spoil it for myself. Because I'm really excited for this event, and I try to avoid reviews and gossip sites. But if they really did, I guess that's pretty messed up. Especially since Marvel was nice enough to actually ship it a week early so people could check it out. I guess. Regardless, um, Avengers vs. X-Men number zero. So this as I said before, I actually had the wraparound cover by Jim Chung, and the people who um, so the creative team behind this is Brian Michael Bendis, who is essentially the man behind the Avengers. He's been writing the Avengers for like 10 years now, for a long time, not 10 years, that's a lot, but a long, long time since Marvel, since Avengers, since House of M, for a while actually. Um, Jason Aaron, he's the premier writer on Wolverine. He's writing Wolverine and the X Men right now. We have Frank Cho, who's a great artist, and Keith. I actually don't know who this guy is, but we have so two different creative teams. So on the first part of this, on the as I'll show you my wraparound cover again. Um, so it's really nice. Well, Avengers going at it. So my video froze. We have um we first open up to this is basically the prologue. We get character synopsis. We have the Scarlet Witch. So she's daughter of Magneto, was once an Avenger. She made the mutants an endangered species. Bam. We have Hope Summers, mutant messiah. She's destined to either save them or to destroy the world. All right. So so basically whoa the art is done by Frank Cho, and the coloring by I guess Jason Keith. Um, uh, so we have the issue starts off with this what seems to be this ambassador being escorted through the city, and they get attacked by AIM, and by MODOK. Basically, the Wakandans are harboring an ex-AIM scientist who's gonna squeal on them, and MODOK wants to kill this guy. Well, MODOK's guns stop working. You know why? Because the Scarlet Witch appears. Woo! And her, as I said, her ability is probability manipulation. So she manipulates it, the chance of them shooting working. She made it zero, so they blew up instead. So she starts fighting these aimbots, and MODOK's like, "Oh, you're the woman who is a disgrace. You killed all the mutants. You know, you're not a threat. I wonder if there's a bounty." And she starts fighting. She sort of gets overwhelmed, and then two of the Avengers show up, Miss Marvel and Spider Woman. They all team up. They fight. And they're happy to see the Scarlet Witch, regardless of the beef that she messed up, but that's not saying a lot of people like screw up in Marvel, and they're I guess they're really forget. I guess they forget they're forgiving. They forgave her. And they want her, like, they don't really have beef with Wanda, but the X Men do. The Avengers wanted, they forgive her, I guess, for the mistakes she's made, because everyone makes mistakes. And she did it out of grief, and I guess, like, as long as she's gonna try to redeem herself, even though there's probably no way she can redeem herself unless she can bring back, every single mutant she's murdered. So Spider Woman and Miss Marvel convince her to sort of head back to the mansion to go say hi everyone, because regardless of the beef the X Men have with her, the Avengers are her friends, and they do care about her. So they show up at Avengers Mansion, and everyone's once you're an Avenger, you're always an Avenger. They'll always welcome you home. Well, son, that's not true. Um, the Vision, who is a cyborg, he who married actually Wanda, he appears up and he sort of flips out. He just goes hard. He he talks to her. He's like, "What are you doing here?" And Miss Marvel is trying to defend her, but Vision's like, "I'm talking to my wife. Why did you come here?" He tells her, he feels for her in terms of the choice, the empathy, and he empathizes with the struggle she's had in her life, and whatever manipulation she undergone, but he can't forgive her or understand why did she choose out of all the choices she could have chose to she actually in her rage turned the Vision on all the other mutants, on the Avengers. She took over his mind and she made him attack them, and then that's how he died. Um, and he gets killed, and we don't really so yeah, so the Vision's killed, you know back back in the day, and he's back now. Tony Stark rebuilt him, has been slowly rebuilding him, and Wanda is, all the other Avengers are standing behind her, the Vision, not really knowing what to say. And she says, "You're right. I'm sorry." And the Vision sort of kicks her out. You know, this is not your home. Tony Stark tries to say, it's you. You don't have to be that hard on her, and he sends her away. Um, and Tony and Wolverine are like, Tony's like, you're a little rough, and Wolverine's like, it's his call, and just Tony, ends it with, "I always liked them together," and you see the Vision crying, and that's where the Avengers part of the story ends. So the Scarlet Witch has had she's gone through many ups and downs. The Vision too, all the Avengers have, but her husband calling her, you know, just the one person that they had kids. They I guess they love each other, but he has rejected her and banished her from probably one of the only homes she has, because she's not welcome with the X-Men, her own people. And she's not and if she's not welcome with the Avengers, her other family, where does she have to go? I mean, she does have children, but that doesn't really count. So the Vision, even though he said that, he still cares. I guess he's saying out of grief that she took over his body and made him attack his family and friends, and his home. And I guess that will always leave an impression on him of how could have done that to him, to a person she loves. So so then we move to the X Men part of the story, onto Utopia. This is the refugee camp. I guess it's essentially the island home of the X Men refugee camp. So you see Hope Summers, and she's about to take off, and Cyclops sort of stops her. He's like, "What are you doing? I know you've been going out for a week at night. You've been beating up criminals. Don't lie to me." And she's like, "Don't lie. I could take care of myself, but I don't want you lying to me." Um, like, why is she different from any other mutant? And she wants to know about the Phoenix Source. And Cyclops doesn't know she knows about it, and she explains. She's like, "I know that it's killed your wife. It's a big firebird, and it's coming for her." And she wants to know when we were gonna tell her. And Cyclops is sort of speechless, and he sort of asks her. She's like, "Don't go, don't do this," and she blasts him with his psi blast, or his gleams, and she flies off with her jetpack. Well, she she's sort of this headstrong girl, and she doesn't want to be controlled. So she goes to this bank robbery where the Serpent Society is at, and she just whoops up on these people. She whoops up on them, and the X-Men show up, as in Emma Frost and Cyclops, and they see her just beating up on this guys. To the point where her hands are covered in blood, and he he sends her back home, and she's not afraid of the Phoenix Force. She's ready to take it on, and no matter what anyone says. And Scott and Emma know like this is too much pressure, regardless of it's a because she is a child. She's only 16, and that no Scott knows that she's gonna save them all. He believes in his heart that she's gonna save him, but there's also that doubt in the back of every mutant's mind that, or just everyone's mind, that you know she can kill everyone on the planet, and that's what makes her special, because she can either save them or decimate the mutants. Like she could make mutants and extinct. And then we end up with a Hope at Utopia washing her hands. And then we move out, and then you see the Phoenix Force flying towards the Milky Way, and that's where this issue ends. So so overall, this issue was okay. Not really much happened. You just got introduction to the main players of to the main three of the major players in terms of Scarlet Witch, Hope Summers, and you get a glimpse of the Phoenix Force on its way to Earth, and it's flying. It's coming. Um, so I'm gonna be taking this. I'm gonna be doing two separate parts. So in the first part, the Avengers part, which is by Brian Michael Bendis, it was a good story. In terms of the Scarlet Witch, she's trying to be a hero, trying to sort of find her place in the world, especially in this world that really despises her. Where her people, the mutants, her own kind despise her, and she doesn't really have friends. Even though she doesn't think she has friends, but she does. The Avengers still care about her, and I guess it shows a lot of, and there's a lot of emotion in it. And Frank Cho's art, it's a little weird. His art, in terms of face to body ratio, especially with women, he draws his women really weird. Their faces are really long. Um, but the art helps a lot. Just the expressions on her face. I mean, you could feel the sorrow that she has when the Vision kicks her out. And even with the Vision, he's a robot. You don't even see any emotion in his face. You see tears coming out. This, it helps a lot to understand like what she's going through and what he's going through and just what everyone's going through. It's just like, she's made some poor choices, and those choices are coming to haunt her forever. So that's the Avengers portion of the story is actually pretty good. Um, Not too bad. Now the X-Men story. I don't like Hope Summers. In general. As a print on print, just because one, she reminds me too much of Jean Grey in terms of looks. Two, she just is a. Every story I've read of her, she's pretty much a spoiled brat. She doesn't like to listen. Like, just because she was raised by cable doesn't mean that she knows everything in the world. She's headstrong, which isn't a bad thing, but she likes to jump into situations and assume that she always knows how to make the right choice. This is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying whatever, but I just don't. I really don't like her. So in this case, it's the leader of the X-Men trying to convince her to chillax, and she just refuses to listen. Thinks she knows everything, and just wants. She's trying. No, and she says she's ready. She's not ready. No one is ready for the Phoenix Force. That's why everyone's freaking the hell out about it. Um. So I don't really like the X-Men portion of the book. It's good. It's a solid story in terms of setting up. You get a feel for who Hope Summers is. She's this teenager with who has the weight of the world on her shoulders. Um, the weight of a race on her shoulders. She is supposed to save them all, and she is unsure of her place in the world too. So, there's some, Scarlet Witch and Hope, they have a lot of parallels where they're unsure about what they're supposed to do and, what people's expectations are for them. So I'm going to be giving this issue Actually, 3.5 out of 5. It was good. It set a good setting up issue. It wasn't like spectacular. I didn't find it spectacular. It was all right. Um, but thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about this. If you're hyped for X-Men versus Avengers versus X-Men, all the other stuff. I have a couple more reviews coming up in the future, but those will get done when they get done. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a good night if you watch this tonight. And have a great weekend.